Now to new developments in the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Combs' legal team is fighting to keep evidence authorities found during the raids on the music mogul's homes out of court. This, as one of Diddy's attorneys is stepping down ahead of the trial.
Yeah, Combs faces serious charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution, which he's pleaded not guilty to. So let's go ahead and bring in ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky and legal contributor Brian Buckmire. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you.
So let's go ahead and start with this motion to suppress evidence. I mean, this is really interesting because Diddy's defense team says that those raids on his home were unconstitutional. How so?
You remember the agents from Homeland Security Investigations were none too shy, Gio. They burst in, they had guns, and they rummaged through a lot of things, and that's where the defense says the agents went wrong. When they applied for the search warrant applications, the defense says they were just too broad. They allowed the agents to go through everything without being specific. The defense also says that when they were applying, they gave the magistrate judge who approved the warrants kind of an incomplete picture. They excluded things that could have been helpful to Sean Combs, and they included some salacious details, the defense said, from an unnamed producer who the defense says just wasn't credible.
Let's talk about that unnamed producer. The defense is disputing claims from a producer they've described as an utterly unreliable witness who was never credible. So Brian, how do you think the judge is going to assess this?
So whenever you hear about suppression, trying to keep up evidence and credibility of a witness, what they're talking about is called a Frank's hearing. It's basically saying that the information that was given to the magistrate judge either had omissions or lies in them. And if the judge had all the proper information, the defense is making the argument that they would not have gotten that search warrant. And so the judge is going to look at it from two different points. He's going to look at it and say, okay, was there material lie or some sort of reckless disregard from the truth? That's kind of the language we're hearing from the attorneys. And was that material in a way that it affected the outcome of the warrant? And if that's true, they get to have a hearing. And if they can prove those elements, that warrant is void, and anything that comes from that warrant gets thrown out.
Wow.
And that would be a real problem because the defense is talking about not just the searches of the homes, but Diddy's iCloud accounts, his electronic devices, his hotel room here in New York, after his arrest. Pretty much everything.
Everything in the warrant could get thrown out if they win this argument.
But wow,
it's a big
okay.
if.
So let's talk, we were talking about Diddy's attorney calling it quits, and here's what he said in a federal court filing: under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. I mean, that's strong language. How significant of a loss is this for him?
It's significant because Anthony Rico was someone that Sean Combs was clearly comfortable with. He also grew up in Harlem, and he would often sit next to Sean Combs, kind of keep him calm during court proceedings. And here Rico is now very experienced litigator, represented death row inmates, represented Al-Qaeda defendants, represented cops in the killing of Sean Bell here in New York, an experienced lawyer who now says, for reasons really unknown, that he can no longer represent Sean Combs.
Okay, so Brian, what are some reasons that a lawyer at this stage, not this guy, but some lawyers would step away from a case like this?
Yeah, let's definitely make it not this guy, because while I do know of Tony Rico, he's actually the mentor of my mentor, so we're all in the same kind of field. I don't know why Tony did this, but there are certain reasons why an attorney would back out of a case. And I think that there's a lot of speculation of, well, Diddy is so guilty, that's why he would back out. No, we represent people in tough cases. We represent people who are definitely guilty. And this is a very seasoned attorney, Tony Rico, and he's not going to back out because of this reason. But we do have ethical obligations as to why we'd have to back out of representing someone. For example, I can defend someone if you commit a crime, but I can't help you further a crime. I can't put forward a legal argument that I know is insufficient or illegal. And so there's certain barriers as to why an attorney must back out, would feel to back out, and why a judge would agree with that if they feel that their own obligations to that client aren't being met. There's also, if they feel like the legal advice that they're giving them is appropriate and the client is not taking it and it's going to lead them down a wrong path, there are multiple different ethical reasons that may not be the reason here, but it's a broad list as to why someone would do that.
And Diddy put forth two arguments recently. One, that he's the victim of a racist prosecution, and the other is that Cassie Ventura was asking for it. And those are tough defense arguments to make in front of a jury. Maybe Anthony Rico didn't want to be part of those.
Yeah, maybe not. All right. Brian Buckmire, Aaron Katersky, thank you so much. We appreciate it.